Hey guys, it's Abby. Welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would share with you guys my 20-week bump date. So it's kind of crazy that I'm already 20 weeks. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but I mean, obviously it has been, but it doesn't feel like it's been that long. Real quick, I want to address like if the lighting's a little bit funny, like I know half my face is kind of cast in shadow and half of it's not. I have my window shades open on this side of me and I was too lazy to get a light. So sorry if the lighting's a little weird. But anyway, so I wanted to share with you guys like kind of my experience and like some of the symptoms I'm having, just so you know what I've been going through. And if you're going through it, you can know you're not alone. And then obviously I'll show you the bump. So, all right, so I'm going to start with probably like the more negative-y kinds of stuff to begin with. So I mentioned in my pregnancy story, my infertility story video, that I had a headache. So for the first trimester, the symptom that killed me was the fatigue. I was like dying. I was so tired. Figuratively, not literally, I know, but I was really, really tired. And then it was like 2 or 3 days into the second trimester, I was like, wow, I have energy. I feel great. And then I was like, it's like someone hit me outside the head with the book and I had a headache. And you guys know, I've talked about this before. I've struggled with headaches my whole life. That's why I got the doth piercing, like the whole thing. So I wasn't particularly surprised by this. So my doctor gave me a protocol to take magnesium and B2 every day, twice a day. So I didn't take the B2 because I couldn't find it. They ended up prescribing it for me because I wasn't able to find it. And then I bought the magnesium right away and started taking it. And I was like, whoa, within the first tablet, my head felt so much better. I was just like, wow, this is great. So my head really liked the magnesium, but my heart did not. So I've talked to you guys before about how I had a heart condition, how I had surgery and all that. So everybody, well, most people, not everybody, but most people have these things called pre-arterial contractions, or PACs. It's your heart is controlled by electrical signals, and it's basically a false start to start a heartbeat. And it's no big deal. A lot of people don't even feel them. You know, it's really not a big deal. I get them frequently and I feel them very intensely because I have a pathway that they used to go down, right? That would cause my episodes of arrhythmia. And so I have them, but I'll have like 2 or 3, in a week, right? It's not like a daily occurrence usually. And I had more than 5 in one day when I took the magnesium. So I quit taking the magnesium and they stopped. So that was kind of a bummer, but then the headache came back. So I've been taking the B2, but it doesn't really seems to be taking the edge off, but it's not really getting rid of the headache. And I mean, I'm used to living with a headache anyway, but it's like, it kind of helps, but not really. And I don't take Tylenol or anything because it's not really worth the effort. And I'd rather take the Tylenol if like my back hurts or something like that, because the headache, I'm used to living with a headache. Guys, I've had chronic headaches my whole life, so I'm used to living with that. And then I've had some back pain, but I've had 2 different types of back pain. So I've just had like the muscle, like, walking around like a pregnant lady with your hands on your back, but then I've also been having some sciatica problems. So sometimes it's not that bad. Like sometimes it's just like every now and then if I just move wrong, it just twinges and it hurts. Sometimes I have I have a little bit of a limp. Some days I can barely walk at all. Last night, my husband and I were laying on the floor watching some TV, and I literally could not get up on my own because both my hips were like on fire. And he kind of like had to just like drag me up off the floor, and I walked to the shower, or no, I did not walk. I hobbled to the shower like with it was awful. But anyway, so that's been like my really only other, that's been my physical pains. I've started having some insomnia, and it's not that I can't fall asleep, it's that I don't stay asleep. I'll wake up a lot during the night. Sometimes it's just because I'm uncomfortable, but sometimes it's because I just wake up. There's no really rhyme or reason to it. It's not because I have to pee in the middle of the night or anything like that yet. It's just my body just wakes up. And I seem to sleep better. It helped a lot when I got I got a pregnancy pillow. I did not buy one of those noodle things because I just couldn't handle the thought of like being wrapped in that noodle thing. I'm way too claustrophobic for that. I bought one by Boppy, and I'll link it down below. And it just has something that goes under your bump and something that goes in between your legs. And that helps a lot, because I was getting to a point where I was like, I hurt when I wake up in the morning, like just from sleeping, like I hurt that much. And so that helped a lot with that. So now to like the more, less I don't know really what to say, like, I guess more positive things. So I'm not really craving anything weird. Like sometimes, like if I'm at the grocery store and I see something, I'm like, ooh, that sounds really good. But for the most part, I'm not really craving anything specific. I just want to eat like all the time. And depending on the time of day I weigh myself, I've gained between 2 and 7 pounds. So I'm really not that concerned about it, I guess. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to fuss at me or not when I go to the doctor. I go to the doctor again next week. I don't know if they're going to fuss at me or not, if about my weight gain, if they're going to want me to gain more weight. I don't know. But I've been trying to be cognizant of what I eat, but because I'm trying not to use like the whole I'm eating for 2 excuse. Cause like I tell people all the time, I'm eating for 1 plus whatever size the baby is that week. So I think this week, what is it? A sweet potato, I think is the size we're at now. Anyway, so I'm trying not to use the, I'm eating for 2 excuse. And then on this coming Friday, we have our anatomy scan. So that's when we'll find out the gender and all that, because we are finding out. I'm way too much of a planner to not know what this baby is. Because they never told me the results of the genetic tests. Like, they told me and they're like, oh, your risk factors are super low. I was like, okay, great. And then nothing. I never got a phone call after that. I didn't get anything because they were supposed to be able to tell me the baby's blood type. They're supposed to be able to tell me the baby's gender, all that stuff. So I'm actually going to ask for a copy of the results when we go in this coming week, so that way I can see like what the baby's blood type is, because I'm curious. But anyway, so another thing is baby's very, very active. I feel a lot of movement, a lot. So I started feeling movement around 15 weeks, which is really early, they say, for first-time moms, but they say that if you're slender, you're more likely to feel it sooner. But then if you have a tilted uterus, you're more likely to feel it later. And I have a tilted uterus, so I don't know. But anyway, I was kind of like, is this what I'm feeling? Like, it kind of felt like, that butterfly sensation you feel in your stomach, but it would just be like light brushing movements. That's what I felt. And then at about 16 and a half weeks, I have a splinter in my finger. Ow, that's interesting. At about 16 and a half weeks, I found out that the baby does not like it when I sneeze. So I was sitting in a meeting at work and I sneezed and I was met with a very swift kick. So that was the first kick that I know was a kick. And only because most of the movements, like I said, were very at that point, were very la la la, just kind of moving, brushing against me. And that was very direct in response to that. Now the baby's really active, kicks a lot, moves a lot. Sometimes the movements are really, really big, and that's a very, very odd baby movement is such a cool and weird sensation. But the baby's really, really active. And just this past week, Ben was actually able to feel the baby. So he had felt the baby a little bit before, but he wasn't quite sure that that's what that was. But then the baby was in one spot and just kept kicking and kicking and kicking and kicking the one spot. And so he felt 5 or 6 kicks in a row, and his face, the look on his face and just made me want to melt into the floor. It was the sweetest thing I've seen in my life. So that's been really, really cool. And getting to, watch my belly grow and all that. I don't have any stretch marks yet, which kind of surprises me, just because I do have stretch marks here and on the sides of my legs and on the backs of my legs, from when I hit puberty. And I gained a little bit of weight my senior year of high school. And so I was kind of surprised that I don't have stretch marks, just because I already do. And I could still get them, I don't know. My skin has been really, really dry. That's another thing I've been experiencing a lot of, is my skin has been oh my gosh, dry, and it's been horrible. And sometimes the itching is so bad it'll wake me up in the middle of the night. I've just been bathing in lotion, and that really seems to help. I do the in-shower stuff. I'm using a bunch of different things. I bought coconut oil to use on my skin, all kinds of different things. What else? I'm still waiting, by the way, for this fabulous pregnancy hair. My hair is really long, but that's because I haven't had a haircut since September. But I'm waiting for this killer pregnancy hair that people talk about. I still haven't gotten this killer pregnancy hair that people talk about, where it's super thick and luscious. I'm my hair still falls out in sheets every time I take a shower. I don't know how I still have hair on my head. But I think that's everything. I really can't complain that much. It's going really, really well. I mean, granted, I do have a whole summer of 3rd trimester to go through, because I'm going to be in my 3rd trimester across the heat of the summer. Oh, well, not much I can do about that now at all. I can't do anything about that now. But that's okay. You just kind of take it in stride. So, pardon me, guys, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm out of breath. That's another thing. I've noticed I've gotten some dizzy spells, but they're not anything too big. I'm not concerned about it. And then, it is getting a little bit harder to breathe just because of everything moving around in there and all that stuff. But okay, so I think that's everything. So I'm going to try and get in a position where you guys can see my bump. Yeah, there we go. So see, there's a decent amount there for sure. And sometimes it's funny, like I feel like I look super pregnant in some outfits and then not pregnant in some. Like someone at work, I made a comment about pregnancy brain, which is totally a thing. And she was like, "Oh, you're pregnant, congratulations." I was like, is it not obvious, like painfully obvious at this point that I'm, 20 weeks pregnant? But anyway, yeah, so that's the bump. We're doing great. And we find out on Friday what this little one is. So, pretty excited. And I will share that with you guys. Once we I'll share that with you guys. I'm not gonna say immediately once we know, but I will share that with you guys. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one. Bye.